Hey Munchkins! So, as I told you guys, I would be talking about the surprising fourth book in the Nightshade series, Snakesroot. The reason why it's a surprising book is because the Nightshade series is supposed to be a trilogy, but surprise! This book should have never been written in the first place because I really didn't like it, so yeah. Anyway, they're gonna be spoilers, so let's talk about the book. This book starts off with Logan trying to find a way to keep himself young. This is actually a month after the rift had closed, and now that the Keepers don't have their powers, because they got their powers from the rift, they're starting to lose their complexion and their beauty. They're actually starting to look their true age, and they're actually aging really fast because they're about 500 or something years old. So yeah, they're getting old, and they don't like that. Anyway, long story short on that part, he figures out a way how to keep himself young, and he brings Rin back. Rin is now a restless spirit. He actually died in the third book, and he actually comes back into this book because of the spell that Logan did to keep him and some of his friends young. He actually brought him back because Rin was stuck in between worlds of the afterlife and the real world, and he comes back when the spell is done, and now Rin is kind of on a leash with Logan. Logan pretty much tells him to do stuff and he'll do it. He can't exactly kill people, but he can be a messenger. So Logan will tell him a message, and Rin will tell that person the message. And Rin actually figures out that he can actually talk to people he has seen, or they have seen him. He can talk to them, but he can't answer questions. He can only just talk to them, and it kind of makes him mad, but he's starting to figure out how to be a spirit, which is kind of funny. To me, at least. So that's what happens. Rin's sister is going insane because she's having nightmares, she's starting to see things, and then she figures out that it's actually Logan trying to get in touch with her, or Logan trying to make her come to him, because Logan actually needs Rin's sister to open the rift so he can have his father back, so there can be more chaos in the world. So that's Logan's other plan, is to bring his father back so they can pretty much finish what they started. And then we have a little snippet of Shay's mom trying to bring Shay back, because Shay was actually supposed to stay human, but he turned into a wolf, and Shay's mom can't deal with it, and she's trying to find a way to bring Shay back. And so she goes over to Logan, and she actually gets like a spell, like a spell staff stuck inside of her, and she actually has to go back to the Seekers, and she gets that out of her, she gets that spell out of her, but then she gets arrested because she started talking to a Keeper. But she gets arrested by a Keeper, which doesn't make any sense. Or something like that. She gets arrested for a weird reason, not for the true reason, but for a different reason. And you really don't know what she actually got arrested for, but you know it was because she was talking and working with a Keeper when she is a Seeker. That, and at the end of the book, it was kind of not together. In this book series, it wasn't well put together because it was really jumpy, and I really didn't like that. I actually had to write it down physically so I could figure out what plot was actually going on. It was really jumpy, it was really confusing. I felt like I was reading a math book. Once I started writing it down and thinking it through, I really enjoyed reading it, but I still didn't like the book. I was fine with the trilogy. I don't want it to have a fourth book, because I kept myself closed-minded to, it's going to be a trilogy, it's the end, we're good, and then surprisingly there's a surprise fourth book, and usually I'm an open-minded person, But because there was really not a story that could ever happen at the end of the ending of the third book, this book just didn't feel the same because you didn't have the main characters. You had the side characters become main characters, and I really didn't like that. I really did not like that. It was still a good read, but I really didn't need this book. I didn't need it. It really should have never been written. In my point of view, I'm kind of happy, but yet disappointed that it is a book, but we can't really do anything about it. I know it doesn't make any sense and I'm kind of contradicting myself, but in the end, I rate this book an 8.5 out of 10. It was still a good read, even though the point of views changed constantly, and there's some stuff I really didn't care for, but it was still a good read once you got beside the jumpiness and the confusion. And in the end, it was just a giant cliffhanger because it never really finished. It was just blah. All this stuff. The ending of trying to bring Rin's sister back and trying to figure out why Sarah and or Shay's mom got arrested. That's pretty much the end, is the Seekers trying to find their way and trying to figure out what to do. So that's a thing. Anyway, the only other thing I've got to say is if you liked what you've seen today, remember to subscribe and click that notification. Remember to like or dislike, share, and favorite. If you have read this book and this series, leave in the comment section below what do you think about the fourth book. Should have been written or should have not been written? So, the only other thing I've got to say is I'll see you later, my Autobots, Decepticons, and Munchkins of all types, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!